Hi there and welcome into KARE 11 News at Noon. Right now we're seeing a first wave of storms with rising temps and humidity, and it's going to be an unstable Wednesday. We thank you for joining us. We've got a lot to get to, but Cece, of course, you're covering a developing situation in St. Paul.
Yes, actually there's a deadly shooting overnight in the Payne-Phelan neighborhood, so I'll have more details about that.
Okay, and then also you've had a busy day. Those skies looking pretty dark.
Yes, we are looking at numerous rounds of heavy showers and thunderstorms. The first batch is now exiting the Twin Cities metro. Notice clearing to the north. Lots of lightning and thunder for the southern third of the state, including the Minnesota River Valley, south central and southeastern Minnesota. Now, the good news with these is we don't have any severe weather right now. This batch that we've seen this morning did produce some large hail out towards the Hutchinson area, out towards Wilmer earlier this morning, but it's tamed down a little bit and might see a stray severe cell pop up across far southern Minnesota, say the I-90 corridor, but most of this is more bark than bite. It's heavy rain, maybe some small hail and some gusty winds on the leading edge of these systems, but right now nothing severe. That being said, that's just round one. Notice a clearing that's taking place across north central Minnesota. There's a secondary round of thunderstorms forecast to develop across north central and northwestern Minnesota later this afternoon. That grouping is forecast to be stronger than the group we saw earlier this morning. And whatever forms of that is likely going to push down towards the Twin Cities metro area later this evening. Probably not until after 6, 7 o'clock tonight. Notice right now we are in the rain-cooled air. Our floor director said it's rather cool outside right now. It certainly is. Only 65 degrees, but notice where we have the clearing. Temperatures in the upper 70s and lower 80s. That's the atmosphere recharging. So as soon as the sun comes out, you can tell that the atmosphere is regrouping, recharging for a second round of thunderstorms as we head into the evening. So there is an enhanced risk for severe weather. That's a 3 out of 5 scale up in the northeastern corner of the state. Slight risk for severe storms across the yellow area, including the Twin Cities metro. The main threat is large hail, but a couple isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out as well. And this is some video showing some of the gusty wind that was moving through. This was taken by one of our producers inside a restaurant in St. Paul. You can see pretty gusty wind. Thankfully, we didn't see any severe weather earlier this morning, but this is the kind of stuff that you can expect to redevelop later this evening. So it is a day to become more weather aware as we head deeper into the day, Alexis.
Ben, thank you. And of course, we have updates now on a deadly shooting in St. Paul that we first brought to you as breaking news on Sunrise. It happened overnight in the Payne-Phelan neighborhood. And of course, Cece, you heard from police earlier this morning. What do you know?
Yeah, so officials telling us actually just hours ago that this is the 11th homicide of the year in St. Paul. The situation started nearly 12 hours ago, around 1:30 this morning. Multiple people called 911 to report shots fired. So here's everything we know so far. Officers responded to the 800 block of Maryland Avenue East, which is near Mendota Street. When officers got to the scene, they found a man suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was declared dead on the scene by paramedics. Investigators will continue to talk with witnesses and neighborhood residents while crime scene technicians gather and process evidence. We heard from officials on the scene when they were investigating just a few hours ago.
Anybody can be impacted by those rounds, and it's very concerning in the sense that, yes, the people being shot at, but also the people that live in these neighborhoods. The ripple effect of gunfire in a neighborhood isn't just contained to that person being shot at. It affects everybody.
So as of this afternoon, there are no suspects or a known motive. Police are asking anyone with information to call homicide investigators. Alexis.
Cece, thank you. And today is the final leg of Officer Jamal Mitchell's journey home. After yesterday's memorial and procession, the fallen officer's body is heading to his hometown in Connecticut. Mitchell is originally from New Haven. Ahead of today's flight, Connecticut police are expected to meet with Mitchell's family and Minneapolis officers. Officer Mitchell's funeral is set for Monday, the 17th. Within the last 14 hours, the Minneapolis School Board approved massive cuts across the district. It's an attempt to balance a projected $110 million budget shortfall. There was no discussion at the board meeting when approving next year's budget. According to the final budget resolution given to the board, around 4.75% of unfilled positions will remain vacant. There will also be cuts to schools, significantly to magnet schools. Both Roosevelt High School and Camden High School will also see cuts above 10%. We're now hearing more from students in Hopkins about what they say happened leading up to an alleged attack on a transgender student. During a tense school board meeting last night, the superintendent acknowledged the harm caused by the last week's incident and admitted that the district has some work to do. The Hopkins Black Student Alliance claims the student who was attacked, Cobalt Sovereign, used racial slurs, elevating the incident to another level. Last week, Cobalt told KARE 11 it started after another student looked over a bathroom stall and called her a slur several times. Cobalt says she was attacked, suffering a broken jaw and broken teeth. The superintendent says every student should feel safe and says some measures already taken include teaching gender inclusion and anti-racism policies and a bi-weekly safety team.
We pride ourselves on creating conditions of belonging where each student can show up as their true authentic self. We pride ourselves on frequently meeting and addressing the holistic safety of our students.
The district hired an independent investigator. Police say there's also video that it's reviewing as well. Once that investigation is complete, it will be forwarded to the county attorney. In Minneapolis, police are investigating a hit and run that injured two teens riding scooters. The MPD says it happened just before 8 last night near Lindell Avenue, South and West 24th Street in South Minneapolis. The teens were taken to the hospital. Police did not find any suspects, but they did find an unoccupied vehicle in North Minneapolis they believe was involved. Well, you're looking at video of police chasing a hijacked bus in Atlanta. It happened yesterday during rush hour traffic. Police confirm one person died from a gunshot and they have a man in custody. It first started in the afternoon after officers say they got reports of gunfire on the bus. It turned into a high-speed chase through multiple Georgia counties. Several vehicles were hit before the chase ended in an Atlanta suburb. Police are now commending the bus driver.
His commitment to the passengers on board, I think, will be noted later at the appropriate time, but I think he's also a hero today as he was in a very dangerous situation that played out.
The suspect is identified as a 39-year-old felon.
Well, a new United Nations report finds both Israel and Hamas have committed war crimes in their ongoing conflict. It's the first in-depth investigation into the war in Gaza and paints a picture of both sides routinely disregarding international law. That includes allegations of sexual violence, torture, and intentional attacks on civilians. Specifically, Hamas is accused of willful killing, inhumane treatment, and taking hostages. Israel is accused of starvation, detention, and the maiming of tens of thousands of children. Israeli leaders have in return accused the UN inquiry of anti-Israel discrimination. Hamas hasn't responded. Now, when it comes to the 2024 election, new poll numbers released this morning reveal the impact the war between Israel and Hamas could have on the presidential race. First, the KARE 11 NPR News Star Tribune Minnesota poll asked Minnesota voters about Israel's military response in Gaza. The majority of respondents were mixed, with 44% saying they disapprove of Israel's actions versus nearly 41% who approve. Another 15% said they're unsure. The poll also asked voters about U.S. support for Israel. Now, no single response came out with a majority. Around 37% of respondents said they believe the U.S. is providing the right amount of support, while about 32% said it's too much, and 20% said it's offering too little. The poll asked the same question about the U.S. support for Palestinian civilians. Voters were more likely to say the U.S. is providing the right amount of support, nearly 36%, or not enough support, that's around 34%. Only 18% said the U.S. was offering too much support.
After 8 decades, a Stillwater sailor killed in the attack on Pearl Harbor will finally be laid to rest here in his home state. In April, we learned the remains of Navy Fire Controlman William Guzzi were identified and coming home to Minnesota. At just 19 years old, he was on the USS Oklahoma during the surprise attack back on December 7th, 1941. Defense officials say the Japanese torpedoed and sunk the Oklahoma, killing 429 crewmen. Now, 83 years later, Guzzi will be buried at Fort Snelling National Cemetery. Well, it's official. Lynx superstar forward Napheesa Collier is heading to Paris. This is the moment that she found out that she made the U.S. women's basketball roster. She's joining 12 other WNBA stars for what will be her second straight trip to the Olympics. She will also be with her head coach, Cheryl Reeve, in Paris, and she says it's a surreal moment in her life.
Last time I was, I think, the youngest player on the team, and I was like the number 12th on the roster. So obviously, you know, I hope my role is a lot bigger this time around, get to play more, fighting for a starting position, all those things. But really, I mean, the goal is the same, to win gold. So no matter what that looks like, that's what I want the result to be.
Big Fee, such a superstar. Collier will help the team go for its 8th straight gold medal in Paris this summer. Well, great athletes often credit a great coach, and now we want to help you say thank you, coach. Go to KARE11.com/thankyoucoach to honor a coach or activity leader who has made a difference in your life. We'll share some of their stories during the Olympics here on KARE 11.